Saving Vice. What is up, guys? How you doing?
We're good.
Doing
Good.
super well.
What's up, man? How are we doing?
Yeah, good.
Let's
You
take a
good?
second and have each of you guys introduce yourselves and your role in the band.
Okay, I'm on the left over here, so I'll start off. I'm
Yeah.
Sam, and I play drums.
I'm Tyler, and I do half the vocals.
I'm Chase, and I do the other half of those vocals.
I'm Robbie, and I play guitar.
I am Ken. They all call me Kenji, and I play bass.
Nice. Yeah, there's no easy, fluid way to like introduce everybody. No one knows like which
Yeah,
what order to go
Sammy,
in.
you're under me and him on my screen.
I'm on
so-
the left. I'm on the left on my.
Yeah.
Don't trust
like
that.
We got like a perfect Brady Bunch thing going on right
I
now.
I have a column. You can change the format though.
Next time we'll go in the order of height, descending.
Figure it out.
So this week you guys are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of your debut record, Hello There.
Yep.
What are you guys doing to sort of revisit the record or commemorate it in some way?
I mean, we're pretty much we dropped our record. We spent a very long time planning all of it out. You know, we had campaigned for months and months prior. We had planned out videos, we had tours and shows planned, and like we had put everything into making sure that we did it right. And we dropped our record. We got to play one really big, amazing sold out record release show, and then COVID happened. So, you know, obviously not being able to tour or play shows, especially a independent band that's as young as we are, that kind of shot us in the leg a little bit. So, you know, a year later, a lot of people that would have still haven't really heard that record. So we felt that the 1-year anniversary, you know, in light of everything, we'd kind of do something to celebrate it, you know, and what we did, and really give it some, you know, another breath of life. So we're doing an animated video for our song Nerve Damage, which was I feel like one of our fan favorite songs on the album. That we had this really big video planned for it that we were always intending to do, but unfortunately due to COVID that never got to be done. But we really wanted to do that song. We were saving that song.
Yeah, the video was literally like congregating people. That was like
it was a
Just,
giant
like,
party. Yeah,
like sharing drinks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it was like
everything
nothing-
that COVID is not supposed to be.
and
those
it was
COVID
like
things,
and it
no.
was
Yeah.
it was gonna be the highest budget video we'd ever done too, and like and COVID obviously made that difficult. So we did a really cool animated kind of anime video for it to really get that out there. We did it with Dead Eyes Art. He did like the Spirit Box's recent
cool.
animated video, Attack's recent animated video.
Nice.
And there's a couple other ones that I'm not supposed to probably talk about that are
Super
coming out that he did.
talented.
But and then we brought back like some merch designs from the Hello There release that were like sold out that a lot of people really liked, and we did a new one, and you know, just some stuff like that. And we're doing a bunch of fun stuff on social media too, to just kind of just get everybody hyped about it and like get the fans involved. And you know, because it's like the biggest challenge of all this. You know, we've tried everything in the book, was just like, you know, being at home, not being able to be a band really. So it's always trying to come up with something unique and cool you can do to really like push your music, because like what we do best is being on stage, and it's the one thing we can't do. So,
Right.
and that's the best way to do it. And that was how we made our name. So now it's like the one thing that always worked for us was like the one thing we're not allowed to do. So we've been trying, you know, so we just felt like the record hasn't really gotten to all the people that it's going to yet. So we felt, you know, why not? You know?
Well, it's awesome that you guys are doing that, because the touring route is usually how you promote your new record and everything like that. So, you know, everybody's forced to figure out a new way to promote their music. And so it's really cool that you guys are doing this. Do you guys have a personal favorite track off the record?
We can go down the line if you want.
Yeah, same
That height
line,
descending.
the same line as we started with, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Sammy, go
All
ahead.
right, so my personal favorite would have to be Blackbriar. Yeah.
You want to say why?
That's why I
All
was
right,
paused
peace
for
him
a
out.
second. I was
Mic
like,
drop.
I wish Ian was here, because he already knows it's because the ending part, it sounds very Avenged Sevenfoldy, and I'm just a big fan of that last riff. So yeah, it's just, I think it's a very good song, and I think it takes the kick off the record.
Mine is Never Knows Best. That song was just very like a personal song for me, but it also just, in my opinion, that song has like every element of what I love about metalcore all fused into one track.
Nice.
And it's like my favorite chorus, my favorite breakdowns, my favorite lyrics. Like it's just, and it's so fun to play live. But that's my favorite.
Sick.
Broken Window is definitely mine. I'm sure Tyler knows why, but it was definitely the most 50-50 song that he and I did together on the album. And the meaning of the song is something very close to like everybody in the band. And on top of that, it's 100% one of the most fun songs to play live for the one time we did it.
Probably one of the most pissed off songs we've ever written, next to Echoes from the Gutter.
Nice. Vibe to it, and I really like it.
Yeah.
For me, it's probably I got a twofer for you. So my favorite song off the it's hard because I feel like all these songs are like my babies in a way, and it's like I like them all each, like they're all my favorite for a different reason.
Yeah,
I'd say overall my favorite to like listen to, like my go-to, would probably have to be Blackbriar as well. That song's just fucking flawless in my opinion. There's some songs on the album that I think we really nailed, like vocally, like that were really strong vocally, and there are some other songs where like the instrumentals were more like powerful, and I think on that song both of those worlds kind of collided in the best way, and I think Blackbriar is a fucking perfect, it's one of my favorite songs we've ever written for sure. So I give it to Blackbriar. Live, completely different story. Endgame is my favorite, hands down. That is such a fun song to play live, and the crowd always goes fucking nuts. It's got everything you want in a good live song. It's bouncy, it's got like a really catchy chorus and a breakdown. You know, what more can you ask for? So it's a great song to play live.
Blackbriar is my close second for sure, with Endgame being my third. So I'm with Robbie. Robbie just made me wonder if I was wrong about my choice, because like I love all three, because like I agree with him so hard. Yeah, good sales pitch.
I mean, they're all good songs, but Blackbriar,
those are my
strongest.
Yeah, it is definitely crisp.
Gotcha.
I'm actually wearing the hoodie right now too.
I noticed that.
Just to prove, you know. What about you, Kenjamin?
Well, I'm gonna do the same thing you did. Actually, it's kind of like a twofer, also for me. I really love playing Hollow Bastion live. It's just like one of those, like it's like one of the most fun songs to play. It's so simple, you know. You just jam to it without even like meaning to. You know, it's just kind of like your head just moves. You know, it's great. However, audio-wise, I actually love Nerve Damage. It's never the first song I show anybody because it's like the most different from like most of them. Mm-hmm. But Nerve Damage to me, it's like when I first heard the record, I wasn't in the band when the record was written, but I listened to that song so many times, I took it off my playlist. So now whenever it comes on, it's just kind of like, oh, you know what, that's kind of a treat. So, you know, but like,
yeah, and this animated video we're doing kind of like, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a really fucking good song. When I heard it's like, you got to realize like when you're in a band, like what we're doing, it's like we listen to these songs a million times before they even hit Spotify. Like we've listened to these songs so many times that we're already burnt out by the time it's actually hitting the world. And I don't know about these guys, but I actually don't listen to our songs like that often. I don't know if that's normal or not for bands, but I don't listen to our past music. I always listen to like what's going to come out next kind of thing. Right. And it was really cool seeing this animated video for Nerve Damage, because I'm like, it just made me re-fall in love with the song, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, it gave me a different, like,
I agree,
respect for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Nerve Damage was an Endgame. I feel the same way about Endgame, where it was weird because Endgame was like the first single / music video we did off the album, where Nerve Damage, I feel like, was the most estranged song on the album when the album came out. But I think it was because it was a little too ahead of its time. And I feel like it's more in line with what a lot of bands are trying to do right now. And I feel like it's going to have a lot more appreciation than it would have had we dropped a video for it a year ago. So it's very different and weird, but I think it's weird in a way that a lot of bands are experimenting with, where I feel like it's going to have a lot more, people are going to give it they're going to hear it with different ears than they might have originally. And I feel the same way. It's like watching the video, it almost like you get to almost hear your own music as a fan again.
That's
like
tight.
from an objective feel. If it's hard to listen to my music objectively because I'm
Right.
always I hear the layers and the production, and
Yeah,
I
of
hear
course.
every little thing. So I'm not appreciating it as a whole. But
Yeah.
when you first have a song with a video, you're so focused on like the visuals that it's almost like you absorb the song just for what it is for the first time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome that you guys get to have a different perspective on your own music. That's good. Yeah, because you know you're so like stuck in it, and when you go down a bit of a hole when you're recording this stuff. So it's cool to hear hear a different perspective. What I wanted to know, what was like the writing process for Hello There? I obviously it would be different now if you guys were writing a record, but do you guys have a certain process that you do for when you are recording a record?
It's kind of you got to break it down. Hey, Rob, you start.
Yeah. So basically, I've always been like the main songwriter of the band. I compose all the music and everything like that. And how it typically works is I'll write the songs. I'll just be at home writing songs on Logic Pro X,
cool.
And pretty straightforward stuff. And basically, Tyler and Chase will put their vocals to it. We'll bounce ideas. I mean, how we did Hello There is definitely different than how we do it now. I'm much more professional at what I do as far as recording and writing and everything like that goes. But back in the day, we're just making pre-pro, so it didn't really matter that much about the quality.
I had just joined the band too.
Gotcha.
Let me be clear. I've had songs written for Hello There during the Colder Than Dark phase. Like I've had some of these songs have been written for years, like 4 or 5 years.
Oh wow.
Which makes me feel fucking old talking about it now. But so this songwriting process has been like it's been a long time coming sort of thing. And what'll happen is Tyler and Chase, I'll send instrumentals, the guys will give their feedback kind of thing, like what they like or don't like, whatever. And then Tyler and Chase will start. They lived together at the time too. They don't anymore. They did at the time. So it was very easy for them to write lyrics and pre-pro on their own laptops and do vocal, just lay down vocal tracks and stuff and get ideas. And that's basically the whole process. And then we would go to the studio where we would sit down with the producer. And that's where a lot of the changes happen. Like I'm rewriting riffs in the studio. Like Hollow Bastion was fucking gutted hard. That song was like so different. The pre-pro, the demo of it was so different than how it actually came out. I don't think the only song that
I don't
really
remember what
stayed.
It sounded like.
I know. This is like years ago, honestly. But I'm trying to think. The one song that probably stayed the most consistent was Endgame. Probably.
Endgame.
Okay.
Endgame sounds very close to the demo, in my opinion. But the other songs, there was a lot of renovating going on in the studio. Our producer had ideas. We had different ideas. Sammy had just joined the band, like he mentioned. It was kind of like an awkward thing where he kind of stumbled into it. He still helped with some of the drum writing, which was cool. But the timing of it was weird. And Kenjamin, we recruited him after the album was recorded.
Right after we finished recording.
Yeah, we had just like, we just had like rough mixes at the I remember I was showing Kenjamin, trying to recruit him into the band with our rough mixes of the album. Yeah, so
actually,
it was like he joined like a couple months after we were getting like the mixes back and stuff.
Gotcha.
So, and that's typically our writing process. Even to this day, I mean, the only difference is that I'm much more professional at what I do, as far as recording and producing and stuff like that. So we've been able to do a lot more DIY shit. Okay. Anyone that's been following us, I don't know if you have this past year, but a lot of our content and music we've released, I recorded myself. It was just me and fucking Tyler.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we just, and it's like, well, one, because of quarantine, because we can't go travel and record places in New York and whatever. And number two, it's cheaper. It's a fuck ton cheaper.
Oh yeah,
just
definitely.
Do it ourselves. And it's like, it's 2021. The technology exists. I invested in the gear and the skills and knowledge. Yeah. So, and I kind of made a career out of it, and I've been doing it for other bands too. So, which is really, that's kind of an aside. But my point is that like we become a lot more resourceful as far as writing goes. But that's typically our process. I don't know if any of the other guys want to chime in with their perspective of it.
I mean, it was it's definitely evolved. Like when I first joined the band, it was like we like Colder Than Dark was Colder Than Dark. It felt like I feel like Colder Than Dark was like that. Most of that EP was just like me unloading lyrics that I had built up for like 3 years because I wasn't in a band, and it was just like spilled out into this. And me and Chase were learning to work together and learning our chemistry. And then with Hello There, it became much more of a Robbie sends us a song, and it was either hey, this is totally my style, like I'm gonna write this one, and then I'll kind of like write parts for you, and then we'll refer to it later, and then we'll finish it together, or vice versa. Like I'll be like, oh Chase, this is your wheelhouse, you handle this one, and then I'll edit it after. Or it'll be like, hey, this is one that we should definitely like just put our heads together on and write it together. And we would kind of evolve from there. But yeah, I mean, like things would change in the studio. I feel like one of the biggest things with Hello There, especially in the studio, was we learned, at least I did, well, I think we all did a little bit. We learned to kind of pick our battles and learn to let go of like the shit that we were so committed to prior.
Right.
Because you have an idea in your head that you want so bad, and sometimes it just doesn't work, or like, and you got to learn to just be like, okay, but like, I really want to keep this part, but like, if this part doesn't work, what do you guys want to do here?
Yeah.
And it's kind of helped us to be a little more open with everything. And we don't fight nearly as much as we used to.
Nearly as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, our band is so democratic. It's crazy. And that's honestly the best way to describe it. It's like everything we do is like gets put to a vote. There's like a fucking gavel, and then it's
nice.
Everybody makes their votes, and after that, everyone fucks off, and that's the decision. And Tyler is right. And during the Hello There studio, I think that was really where we kind of developed that skill, more so than Colder Than Dark even. But with Hello There was a lot of parts where Tyler recorded a line, and then he'd sit back down. I'm like, dude, that fucking sucked. What are you doing? Get back up there. And we'd have these like compromises, or, I wrote a part that didn't sound good, whatever. Like there was a lot of wheeling and dealing, like, okay, I'll let you keep that lyric if you change this one kind of thing. There was a lot of that going on.
Yeah, and it's hard because music is so personal and it's so close to your heart. And like when you have something like, some of this shit, there's stuff on Hello There that like the Blackbriar was like a song title that I've wanted to use for 5 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it was like, there's something where you're just like, I know this is cool. And or like, because we all come from different backgrounds too. So like some of us have a very different understanding or perception of what may or may not work or be marketable. We're like, and I feel like now we have a much better, and like, obviously like, I have all the love in the world for everyone who's ever been in this band, but like we've had past members, but like I think we have a much better community in the band where we all kind of like understand each other's strengths and trust each other. Where like before I'd be like, look, dude, like you got to trust me, and people would be like, no, that's dumb because this. Oh, when I hear that, it makes me think of this, and I'm like, well, I don't care what you think of because I'm telling you, this will be good. And
this
it's
band's
like
gotten a lot better about that.
We don't get in fights. We don't get in fights over dumb stuff like that anymore. And it's like, hey, like
if you're gonna fight tooth and nail, it better be like something you're super passionate,
super confident on.
Right, super confident.
And we've all kind of seen. Okay, now that we've done an EP and a bunch of songs, we've now have seen like, oh shit, like Tyler was right about that, or oh, Robbie was right about that. Like, and now we kind of know like that when Robbie has an idea about such and such, or I want to do such and such, it's like, I might not get it, but I know it'll probably work. You know what I mean? And that's, and that's what being a band or a business has to be, is you got to trust everybody to do their job, Yeah,
of course. It's a big collaborative effort. So it sounds like you guys have a good process for it. One song that I really liked off the record was "Eyes Up," which featured Kaylee Wolf of Rivals.
Yep.
When did you guys meet Rivals?
We did a 2018.
Yes.
I actually knew Kaylee from like years before. Like we had met, but we weren't like super close until like later. But we ended up doing like a weekender with them. Okay. And so we played a couple shows, and then we played iMatter Festival with them.
Oh, nice.
And like, I mean, I can speak for myself. I know Chase is a big fan, but like, they're fucking fantastic. Like, Kaylee is like one of the best vocalists, like not just female vocalists, but one of the best vocalists in the game, in my opinion. I think she's a brilliant songwriter. They know what they're doing with their marketing and how to like keep their music up to date. And like so far, they've just dropped banger after banger. And like I always had a feeling that like she was going to be a really huge name one day, and I really liked her voice. Yeah. And we've always been very picky about doing guest vocal stuff, like. Because between me and Chase, it's like there's very few screamers that could come on a song and do something that Chase and I can't do. Right. And it's like we're not really big on adding someone just for clout. Like if it's not going to enhance the music in a way where we want to hear it, we won't do it. Yeah. So it's like it doesn't really matter how big you are. Like if I don't want to listen to it, it's my music. It's like, and Kaylee was just awesome, and I thought it was cool and different. And female vocalists get such a snub in the scene and like don't get enough appreciation, and they always get like pigeonholed. And so I thought it would be cool and something different, like to have the only guest vocal we did. Oh, cool. Be her. And it was cool because it was kind of our pop punky, more radio song. So it made sense to have someone from that corner of the scene.
It's in that same sort of vein as their music.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, how was it playing iMatterFest back in 2019?
It was more fun than 18 because 2018 was like really stressful for a lot of reasons. So like because it was like our guitarist at the time, both of his kids had birthdays that weekend, so he couldn't be there. He's not in the band anymore. So we were like doing it without like him. It was probably one of the bigger things we'd ever done at the time.
I feel like I blacked out for both.
Yeah. Like
not even like from drinking or anything, just like it's hard to explain, but when you're on stage and you see 6,000 people staring at you, it's one of those things where your brain switches gears. And it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like when the Hulk turns to the it's like
you guys all
like,
into beast mode. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an alter ego kind of thing. When I'm on stage and have you ever seen oh man, what's that? Old School? Have you seen that movie with Will Ferrell?
Oh, it's been a long ass time, but yeah.
There's a scene where he has a debate with someone, and I think it's Old School.
He has the huge tangent.
And yes, this huge tangent, and the guy's like,
he doesn't remember it.
And then the other guy's I have no argument, and Will Ferrell like won the debate, and he gets off stage just like, what just happened? Like that's literally me when I get off stage. I'm just like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then I'm so glad we get cool video footage and shit because I'm like, I don't remember any of that. Like there's one at last iMatter, you guys were telling me I threw my glasses off or something.
Yeah, it's on video.
You guys are like, oh, you threw. I'm like, I don't remember doing that. And then I saw it on video. I'm like, oh shit, I guess I threw my glasses.
So 2018 was like our trial and error. Like I remember my voice was really hoarse on that show, and it was like I always like, even though weirdly enough, it was probably one of the biggest fan reactions we've ever had. Like we had a line out that fucking wrapped around the place at the tent.
That's awesome.
Which was awesome. Yeah. But I was like, okay. But 2019 also was like the last day of a tour we were on, and I had blown my voice out again. Oh, shit. But somehow it still went amazing. Like that was probably one of the craziest shows we've ever played. One of the biggest.
Yeah, that was one of the funnest.
Like, and your mics were fucked.
Yeah, our mics were fucked. And so it turns out Horseheads, New York, you can't use wireless mics. That's all I'm gonna.
I think. But, after doing more like research into audio and stuff like that, like I think there's something to do with daytime and frequencies being outside, being around all the electrical gear.
I was hearing again in my in-ears.
Yeah, because you can get feedback in your in-ears and stuff too. Jeez. But Tyler and Chase always, it doesn't like Warped Tour. We had it at fucking both iMatter festivals we played. It's like they use wireless mics, and it's like one or at least one of them always craps out. And both times, I'm pretty sure we used wired mics as the solution.
Or one of us did.
Or one of you guys picked a wired mic in the problem solved.
I ended up just grabbing a wireless mic at Warped Tour in 2019, and I just kind of I remember you watched the video, and I'm like, sorry, let's fucking go. And then we just.
I mean, I think wired mics look cooler in my opinion.
They do. Yeah,
I think they look cooler.
Yeah, but I have never played a show with a wired mic, other than that one iMatter show where the wire didn't fucking cut out or stop working on me. And that's why I switched to wireless. Also, like it's always someone's always stepping on it or tripping over it or wrapping up in it. Or it's like I like
getting knotted up and tangled.
Yeah. And I like being able to like go wherever I want.
Yeah.
Like I've been known to, like I'll leave the stage and run around in the crowd. Like I love that shit. I don't like being I don't like being tethered. So
Right.
it has its setbacks, but yeah, I mean that festival
Dude,
was
I forgot
so fun.
how pissed off I was about not playing shows till we started talking about this.
Yeah.
I know, dude. I know. I'm just I'm
It's like bringing up all these great memories. Like, thanks a lot, Nolan.
But no, I mean, I met her
too. So good.
But yeah, I met her 2019. I mean, it was like our friends in Born Dead who they've been like our clothing brand that has been kind of working with us since they kind of
Those are some
first got
dope
off the
guys.
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had their own stage. We were playing their stage. We're all wearing their stuff. I remember getting out there and like I was singing, and I just remember looking out and seeing Vinny and Tate, who were the owners, in the crowd, just like, and then just being like, I don't know. It was like, and then our manager who booked the festival was like side stage, and our video guy was shooting for iMatter. It just felt like our family, like just kind of just was there
all right there,
together
all in one
doing it.
spot. Yeah.
And
it's so intimate, those festivals. Like, can I tell about Icy Stars? They were chilling with us in our RV. They just came in.
Yes.
They were drinking with us. Devin Oliver was like giving us business advice for like half an hour straight.
And it's still
Kenjamin's girlfriend like zonked out. It's so fucking funny.
Straight
He's
up.
like, great. I guess I'm like entertaining all
But
you guys.
straight up though, like we were there drinking and like smoking with Icy Stars, and I swear to God, like half of our band's infrastructure now is directly attributed to what Devin.
Dude, I thought Devin was
told
just
us.
like Abercrombie, pretty boy, whatever. I'm like, he's probably dumb as the rocks. And then I talked to him. He's fucking genius, dude. This guy's like, he's like an entrepreneur telling me about all this like just crazy business shit. I'm like, damn, like this band has their shit together.
Yeah.
Super inspirational. It was super inspirational.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like, I've been following Icy Stars since they were in high school, like when they had demos out. And so I'm like, I just played this show with them, and now they're like chilling in our RV, and it's like, and they were just so nice and forthcoming. They gave us, it was all the way down to like, like, this is who you should have driving the van. This is how many people, this is what you want to do for your royalties.
They've got it down to a science.
Yeah. And
yeah,
like,
it was pretty incredible.
Yeah. It was a great experience. And I remember that day was one of those days where it was like, we're an independent band. Like we haven't been touring very much so far. Like last year was supposed to be where we started expanding a little bit with our map, so to speak.
Right.
But I just remember being like, that show was such a good day. I just remember being like, yep, ready to quit my job tomorrow and just do this all the time. You're like, you get in this unrealistic headspace.
I did quit my job. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, you did do that.
The Monday after I went to work, and I gave my boss my 2 weeks notice. And that's the last day job I ever had. I've been doing musician freelance stuff ever since. Yeah.
Robbie is
August 2019. Right,
Robbie's the Mark Zuckerberg of the band. Like, he's
pulling the strings.
Enigma.
He's selling all your info.
Yeah, he can like look anything up on YouTube and like learn how to make money.
Dude, these guys think I'm a genius. I just fucking YouTube.
We know you're a genius.
You are a genius.
You just have to give a shit about learning shit.
No, he doesn't understand.
I just love learning.
He doesn't understand that like not everybody is like which is cool that he's humble. Like, but it's like,
I mean, I don't think I'm that special.
Well, no,
I just work hard. I just learn shit.
Well,
I don't know.
We know.
You guys, I keep telling these guys they're all capable of fucking doing whatever they want to do in life.
For real,
whatever you want.
And he's a motivational speaker.
Robbie has definitely given a lot of motivation throughout his hard work. It's like, it's even gotten me to like learn a lot of things that I never would have learned. It's like, right now, I'm doing like a social media marketing course right now. It's like this 30
awesome.
Like, and I don't know, I wouldn't like, it's like having Robbie in the band has like definitely given me more incentive to like want to learn different things and stuff like that.
I mean,
awesome.
I'm sitting at a studio. I'm sitting at a studio right now using a microphone and an interface to do this that I wouldn't even own probably if Robbie hadn't kind of like gotten me into doing this stuff. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, I used to like bully the guys into doing stuff. I was just an asshole.
Confirm.
I was just an asshole boss basically, and now I've become more like, I don't know. I've been reading up a lot I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and reading books and shit, and something I've kind of learned is to have more of a positive reinforcing attitude. Like that's a more effective way to get your team to perform at their best than to just be like, why isn't this done? Get your shit together. You know what I mean? That's more effective. So that's something I've been trying to do a lot more of. I don't know if they've noticed or not, but
oh yeah, I'm way
Yeah,
less.
I've been trying to be more positive reinforcement.
I drink less now.
It's way less. Well, it's way less stressful.
Less stressful, yeah.
Yeah,
because if
it's
you're
like-
having fun when you're like doing stuff, it's a lot easier to get the work done, you know, than if you're just, because at the end of the day, it's like, we're a fucking band and we make money doing this. Like we're less than 1% of people that can do something like this. Like we have such a rare opportunity right now as an independent band. And it's like, it's important not to take that for granted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
For real.
Yeah, and I think we've definitely kind of figured out. I think it was figuring out that like everybody's different and everybody like learns differently and like has different focus and has different abilities in certain ways. And I think what we've kind of realized cohesively is like to stop trying to force a square through a triangle shaped hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where it's like not everybody's gonna be able to do this thing and be great at this thing like just because someone else is, but like they might be good at something else that no one else is good at.
Exactly.
And we've learned to target those specific things and how they can come around to the band.
Everybody in this band has their own specific like job duties and stuff that tailor to their characteristics. Like Kenjamin is he doesn't have a lot of like media skills or like certain skills that, you know, some of the rest of us have, but he's a super detail oriented person. He's very good with numbers. He's our CFO. He's our accountant. He handles all the numbers and stuff. Perfect, right?
Yeah.
And then there's Chase, who is very fluent with merchandise and transactions and all that stuff. He handles all of our merch. Tyler handles our imagery and our branding. Sammy hits drums. Figured something out for him yet. We're working on Sammy.
Cool stuff like vice streams and shit.
Sammy's hilarious because like he's a home run hitter. I don't know if you're familiar with baseball at all. He's a power hitter. He either comes up with brilliant ideas or absolute swing and misses. Like there's no gray areas. Sammy will have like 9 shitty ideas and then one like, what the fuck? That's amazing.
Yeah, he'll be like, yo man, you guys should chain me by my nipples to the ceiling for this video. And then in the next breath, he'll be like, oh hey, I went behind your guys' back and I got the album art done because I thought it'd be cool. And our Hello There album art, Sammy just did without telling us.
Sammy.
Right on
Yeah,
awesome. I love that album art.
He literally just had.
awesome.
He literally was like, "I had my friends take this photo. I thought it'd be cool for album art."
And they've
like,
become integral to our story. They're
Yeah,
in this animated.
Yeah,
Have you guys shown Nolan the video? Has anyone sent them the video?
I have not seen it yet.
Bro, well, we'll send that to you when we're done here.
yeah, like they're
Audrey
part
send
of the twins are part of our lore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
If we had a wiki page,
We didn't tell them about Blackbriar. So the video for Blackbriar, we flew them out from LA
Oh, sick.
to Vermont in my backyard. We shot this fucking. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but
It's fine.
makes it a little less special. But yeah, we shot that in my backyard.
That's amazing.
One of the most
Dope.
low budget. Well, I mean, except for flying them from LA, but
Right.
and it has the most views out of any video we've had, and they were a part of it. And you've seen the video, right? The Blackbriar video. Yeah, and it was honestly one of my favorite videos for sure.
yeah, and they like and it was funny too because I remember I wrote the whole like I've come up with concepts for a lot of our videos, but that was the one where everyone was kind of like, I don't know if this was weird, and I'm like, no, just trust me. It
was the fucking paint.
It was spooky and weird, but I was like
the
drawing
warrior
it.
paint.
Yeah.
I know we had a lot of arguments about the paint.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
really?
I remember, but
Yeah.
but like the whole idea was like, they represent all of these things that the songs are about, and they're like characters in our story, and like, this isn't the you'll have never seen the last of the twins and singing this. Let's just
Cool.
but they're on our album. They're like
Yeah.
they're whispering. They're the ones who whisper "Hello There" in the beginning of the album. Like that's their
That's tight.
voices.
That's
Like
tight.
they're whispering throughout. Like we did like this rich. It sucks. We only get to use it one. We only get to use it once.
We only
We get to use it one time, but
I created a live backtrack that
Cool.
we literally only use it live. We haven't put it out or anything.
Mhm.
It's before it goes into what the fuck comes before it? Echoes? What comes before Blackbriar Live? I forget.
All Bastion. No,
It's been so long, I
We only
forget.
played the set list once, so it's hard to fucking.
Guys, what song goes into Blackbriar?
Echoes from the gutter.
Echoes from the gutter. Okay, so after
Bars.
Echoes from the gutter, I think Benjamin's right. It like fades into this thing called the Ritual, which was what Tyler was saying. It's kind of like a horror movie inspired like backtrack, but the twins are both simultaneously speaking the lyrics of Blackbriar. What is it, Tyler?
They're speaking like the intro. So like we march into the forest as we search for the light.
Yeah. So they did that,
and they're chanting it like witches, and it's like super creepy. And
it just builds up into the Blackbriar, and that's what we end our set on. That's the last song.
And we got to do it once, and it was.
And we only did it one time last year.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And we all cried.
But it's like that's all because of Sammy. Like, it's like it's all.
Yeah, he makes us cry.
I'm sure
this conversation came from. Yeah.
I'm sure. I just realized. I'm sure you have other questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I do, but like this is honestly very interesting info.
Question number 2, tangent number 7.
This is very common with our band. We're not a boring band, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's called like 3 hours long.
Well, wait, Sammy, how did you meet the twins? How did that all come to be?
I met the twins on Instagram. I was doing some modeling for a little while on social media, and then I came across Saving Vice, and I honestly think I met the twins before I joined the band, and we were just homies online, and we just chatted every now and then. And Tyler brought up the concept on a band call about having like 2 people like facing outside of a window, like with a creepy vibe, and like I just thought in my head, I was like, oh wow, I can picture the twins doing that. So I just hit them up. I said, hey, what's up, guys? And, they got me the picture within like a few days. So like,
awesome.
Came out really good. And, I just kind of brought it up to the guys. They all loved it. And, and then later on, we just got to, we got the pleasure of flying them out. Like we were talking about and hanging out and meeting in person and stuff like that. And yeah, they're just really good people. And
they're so sweet.
They
nice.
just recently dropped music as well. They just became a group. It's 2 twin sisters, Johanna and Julia, and they started a group called the Satin Puppets.
That's an awesome name.
It's kind of like if you fused Danny Elfman like Tim Burton music with Billie Eilish.
That's sick.
It's like it's really cool. Yeah.
And they're not doing it for cloud. They're like OG goth girls. Like they're this is they live their blood is probably black and shit.
No, they like literally they made us like stew, and they were just like, yes, potatoes, because roots, they bind you to the earth. Like they were like telling us the properties of everything they were making for us, and like
very,
it was fucking
they're very passionate about
else.
like earth and natural things and vegetables.
They are everything that they present themselves.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear to anyone that's like, oh, they're doing it for clout.
It's not a gimmick.
It's trendy. It's not a gimmick. They've been doing this forever.
That's awesome.
So,
and they are like
they're the real deal.
There is nothing they can't do. Music, art, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
What was their name again? What was the band's name?
So
again?
they're called the Little
Satin
Ghouls
Puppets?
they're called the Little Ghouls on
Okay.
Instagram, but their music group is the Satin Puppets.
Satin Puppets. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the band name or whatever you want to call it, the artist name. Yep.
That's awesome.
Their first single was on AP.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was actually really,
Yeah.
it was really well done. Actually.
Yeah, it was really well done. Yeah.
I thought it was
Good
well
promo
produced
behind
and
them,
mixed.
too.
But I'm
Nice.
so proud. I'm just so proud of them, and like they've never once like ignored a message, like no matter how. And they have a lot of followers. Like they're really humble. They're very close to us, and I feel like I said, you haven't seen the last of them with
Awesome.
Saving Vice for sure. Like they're a part of us now.
That's awesome. Sammy, you had mentioned earlier that Robbie's kind of like pushed you guys to get new skills and do new things. During quarantine, have you guys learned any new skills, any new hobbies?
Oh shit!
Have you learned the piano yet?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll start. I'm sitting here with, I just got an entire studio set up.
Nice.
I'm learning to try to do my own vocal recording and stuff. I got a MIDI keyboard, so I can eventually start playing with that. Robbie's been, so I used to be like, before I was in the band, I was a artist, and I wanted to do art, and I kind of abandoned that for like a really long time. And Robbie's been pretty much was bullying me forever to try to like get into drawing. So over the quarantine, I started drawing on my girlfriend's iPad, and like I decided to make like a Instagram page called
My
Reunion.
right?
Yeah, Reunion. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I ended up I have my own iPad now, and like I'm turning it into like a business and stuff. I've started doing commissions, and like
That's
I've
sick.
I just introduced him to Fiverr today. First time he's ever heard
nice.
of it. You know what Fiverr
Definitely
is.
needs that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've drawn a lot of stuff for the band. I've done a couple of our shirts. I've done some of our logos. I've done some of our merch stuff. I've gotten commissioned by a couple brands, but it's like it was all stuff that it sucks because there's nothing I hate more in the fucking world than COVID, but
right.
there's so much and like it's handicapped us in so many ways, but there was a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's so much that we have accomplished and all have established where like we all have a much better and stronger infrastructure, both in the band and personally because of it. And for me, that was that. And Sammy and Chase could definitely speak on that. I know.
Awesome.
Robbie too, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. So like at the start of 2020, me and Russ got sober around the same time.
Okay.
He got sober a little before I did. So at like around.
I did. I got sober before you.
With all together.
What
stuff.
the fuck?
With all together. Everything.
Did you like relapse and we didn't know it or something? Or
No. So we got sober at like the start of 2020, and then after COVID hit, I dropped my clothing line. So I did that first.
Break Loose Co, right?
Yeah, Break Loose. I dropped Break Loose in this.
Did your research?
Yeah, I tried.
That was crazy because when I spent a year doing a lot of research regarding the fashion industry before I dropped it, and I had a lot of plans. We were gonna set up shop at iMatter for instance. I had a few festivals lined up, and I already had all of my merchandise in hand before COVID happened. So when it hit, I kind of realized I had to really get down and learn how to sell online.
Nice.
So getting familiar with that was definitely a challenge in itself, and growing to love it was hard as well. And I'm actually just now finally starting to like find enjoyment out of it.
Okay.
And so that's cool. That was a hard thing to get over.
Right.
So yeah, we got the clothing line going, and then recently I got back into I've been doing Wei-Chi-Ryu karate since I was a kid.
Okay.
When I joined Saving Vice, I was already like a second degree, and I recently moved to a different town when I joined the band. So throughout like the first 2 years of me being in the band, I wasn't active or anything like that. But after COVID happened, everything was shut down. I got back into the idea of, working out again. So I was doing it on my own time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back at the dojo now and stuff. And that's been great. I teamed
awesome.
I teamed up with the sensei. I'm handling all of his social media accounts and stuff like that.
Awesome.
It's been a blast learning about that. I've been just toying around with different courses. I learned how to do like 3 different DAW programs.
Fuck yeah.
A little bit of everything.
He started on Reaper because he's a broke
I was
boy.
stuck with the PC. Well, I was stuck.
And
with
I'm like, no, we'll get you Logic like a grown man.
That's Robbie right there.
Yeah.
So
I know this Reaper bullshit.
I was stuck with a PC for a little bit, so I was using Reaper for a while, and then I switched over to Easy Drummer. So Pro, and I was using that for a bit. And I'm just not a fan of the whole MIDI stuff, so I'm actually investing in fixing an electronics that I have, and then once I get that, I'll be able to do video stuff with Kenjamin and write music that way, just like totally live.
Awesome.
If we ever don't meet up,
right.
Me and him do live in the same state now, so it's like I'm hoping that one of these days me and him can meet up and jam in person. But like having a setup that we can just like spend like a couple hours every other day just jamming and writing, I think that'll be a lot more beneficial for us. So I'm excited to get involved with that soon.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much, dude.
Well, at the beginning of this year, same with Tyler, I've got a studio set up now to begin audio production. As well, same with Sammy. I dropped a clothing line this year.
Oh, cool.
You don't say.
Just so happens.
Look at his background, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
But I dropped that. And that's something I've been wanting to do for a few years now, and that's one of the gives and takes of COVID on my end. Like I haven't been able to play shows, but I was able to have the time to focus on this and start another project, something I've been wanting to do for a while, which is awesome. And then behind this, I have like a photo studio, and it's like,
Oh wow.
I'm just trying to get to be as DIY as possible for both the band's purpose and my own personal use.
That's awesome.
Beyond that, I bought a house this year, which is awesome. Which
Wow, congrats.
With Saving Vice and the Low Point merch, I really need, because Tyler can attest. When we were in the apartment together,
Oh my
this
God.
was like this was like 4 clothing drops ago, and it was already getting full. Like our storage had no room. I was keeping boxes up in the living room and shit.
Yeah, there was just totes and totes of band merch. Like we have like our it just fucking sucks, man, because our merch game is so out of control, and like we have so, and we if I can't even imagine what we'd be moving if we were just playing shows right now. Like we have
the
so
whole
much
trailer's just full of merch.
we have so much.
Yeah.
Like I remember we were on tour and we were playing this one show in Brooklyn, and I swear to God, it was like they gave us a TV tray to like set our merch, and we're like, bro, I have like 4 boxes of
Dude.
shit and like a banner. Like, what do you want me to do with
That's
this?
like, oh yeah, it's the merch tables. It's like they give you like a little shitty table.
Yeah,
And
it's
you're
like
like,
some little
okay,
4
so
foot
I
or
guess I'll
whatever.
make this
Yeah.
table work. They're like, oh no, you're sharing it with other fans. And you're like, what?
Yeah,
What
it's
the
like
fuck did you just say?
the one common trend with this band is that we've constantly outgrown our shoes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we
like,
grow
it's
too
like
fast. to
our
keep
our
up.
like live setup and like what we bring to the table, literally, no pun intended, is often too much for the scale of shows we're playing a lot of the time. Even, you know what I mean? It's like we'll be like, it's like, oh yeah, like you want to just share cabs and leave all of your risers and your stage shit and all of that stuff in the trailer because there's no room for it here. And I'm like, bro, it's because it's like if we play like a big festival or a big show, it's like we look like this super legit big band, but then it's like we're not allowed to use it at half the shows we get booked at because we're still an independent band that's only been playing, touring for 1 year, really.
Right.
We'll be
Right.
loading
like-
in, and I'll be like, all right, Tyler, how many Toms can I use tonight?
I know.
Dude.
Wait, Chase, what's the name of your clothing line?
Low Point Apparel.
Low Point Apparel? That's awesome.
I'll be hopping on festival circuit. Same with Sammy as soon as stuff kicks back up.
That's
But yeah, I just been keeping busy, man. Best I can do.
Yeah. And for me, basically after the Higher Ground show we had last year, which was the album release show, luckily we had it before COVID hit. Pretty much once COVID hit, we kind of had a moment to kind of grieve and realize, like, process, okay, shows aren't going to come back anytime soon. And that's kind of when we all had this discussion as a band, like, all right, shows aren't coming back. So we got to shake up our game plan. We were going to tour all of 2020. That was no longer in the cards. So let's invest our time in things that make sense. For me, it was audio production. That's what I've always been passionate about. And I fell in love with it. And I pushed myself throughout the whole year and recorded a lot of stuff for Saving Vice and some other bands too, and made some money doing it. So audio production is something I'm really passionate about. And I was able to focus on that stuff, which, obviously everything we talked about here between Tyler, Sammy, Chase, and myself, we all picked certain side hustles that could also transpose over to Saving Vice.
right.
So like Tyler can draw for Saving Vice. I can record our music. Chase and the merch sale kind of thing kind of works with Saving Vice too. And Sammy as well, the drum stuff, which he's currently in the process of going into. So that's the main reason I did it, but then I fell in love with it and freelanced a bunch. And and my partner and I bought a house too, actually, coincidentally,
Congrats.
the end of last year. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm chilling here right now and I'm fixing broken shit. So I basically I just killed a bat today.
I heard
first
about
time.
that. Can you expand on that a little bit?
I don't know if I want to because it was
Okay.
pretty traumatic, to be honest. But no, I was in the kitchen. I was making spaghetti, just like, and
The
my partner and I,
classic
were
spaghetti.
just in the kitchen, just singing along to MGK and just fucking having a good time. And I'm cooking the pasta and I see this thing fly in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, that's a bat. And I'm like, I'm just like stirring. I'm like, oh, look, a bat. I'm like, fuck, a bat. And we just like both look at each other. We freak the fuck out. And we spent like 15 minutes, dude. It was like straight out of a fucking movie. We're like generals like going to war. Like, are we gonna close off the door here? Like we got like little figurines. Like it was crazy. We're just mapping all this out. And I opened the door, and basically took a broom and tried to get the bat out. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. I don't know if this is a bad PR thing. I ended up killing the bat. I injured the bat.
It was an accident.
Well,
right?
it was an accident for sure. I tried swatting it out of the house and I injured it. And I was taught that if you injure an animal, you have to put it out of its misery.
Right.
And that's why I did what I did, because I'm not going to throw an injured bat out in the freezing cold. You know what I mean?
No.
So I had to put it out of its misery. But I was screaming like a 5-year-old girl the entire time. And I broke the broom and I took a photo. I sent it to the band chat right before this call. Let me pull it up real quick. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but here's the broom completely ripped off the I don't know if you see that or not, but
carnage.
Yeah. I was a little shook going into this call.
If it makes,
I'm so sorry.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, when I was in like middle school, elementary school, me and my best friend Trevor were in my dad's basement, and there was a mouse in the basement, and my dad was overseas because he's in the military, so my stepmom wasn't going to do shit and she was freaking out, so we were tasked with catching the mouse, and we ended up, after tracking it and trying to catch it for almost like 3 hours, finally got it under a bucket, and I ended up like trying to stun it and ended up killing it with a golf club by accident. I remember screaming, I was crying and screaming, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like while I was like, and I was like so traumatized. It was like twitching and I was like, oh my God. Like just,
Tyler,
so I know what that's like.
Feel better.
Like I know
like we're
what
gonna get. Are we gonna get canceled?
No,
for this?
no.
The Nolan
I was like 12.
Like Vice murders animals.
Yeah. So, but I remember then later I ended up catching another one and I learned to humanely get them. And I remember I walked like through an entire field to like put it back in the woods because I was so fucked up.
Dude,
but it was
mice.
like, it's scary, dude, when you're like trying to just like, I need to like incapacitate it so I can capture it because it won't stop moving. And then you're like, oh no, it's and then you're like, oh, I've already gone too far. And then you're just like, oh my God. And like, it's like,
I felt so bad. I felt
so traumatic
because I injured it and I had to make a decision. And I'm like, all right, do I put it outside where it's living, but it's injured and it's going to get fucked up?
It's going to suffer.
Something?
Like, yeah.
It's going to suffer in the cold, or do I put it out of its misery right here and now? And I had to make that decision. It sucks.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't have brought that up. I shouldn't have.
No, it was hilarious up until that point, for sure.
I feel like every hunter is just like pathetic. Like,
yeah, seriously. I feel like half the people listening are like pussy, and other half are like, "How could you do that?"
And then a bat's gonna go into their house, and then they're gonna know how it feels. And it's
well, I mean,
exactly.
like, yeah, but
wait
I
till
mean,
a bat goes in your house and then talk to me.
I mean, you know, none of it went to waste. You know, we had spaghetti.
Yeah,
and
it was a grown,
meatball soup.
It was a grown 95-year-old bat. Let's put it that way.
Right.
It was on its way out. It was its last.
It lived a long life.
I love Rob. I love how Rob. I just think it's so fitting that Robbie is like, oh yeah, I bought a house, and then he's like, oh my, everything broke, and there's a bat. Like,
yeah, seriously, dude. Fucking A. No one warned me about this shit. I have like a newfound respect for my father and shit.
I warned you. I warned you.
I lived with my dad for the past couple of years just to save money to do this kind of thing. And you know, he's like, one day you're gonna own a house and you're gonna understand. Whenever he tells me to do shit, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And now I have a house. I'm like, fuck. There's never not something to do.
No, and it's funny too because Robbie was like, yeah, man, get a house. And I'm like, I'm telling you, man, like am like, I'm not equipped for the maintenance involved in it, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about.
The maintenance and the money definitely are tough, but it's nice having your own space.
Oh, it's so
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
it's definitely worth it. You know, I love having my own place.
It was like buying a car times 4. It was like the worst experience
yeah
ever had to deal with. but it was worth it.
Well, hopefully, Chase, you have a better track record with the house than you do with cars.
Oh,
well,
wait.
yeah, maybe this one won't burn down.
Kenjamin, did you want to?
Yeah, I was gonna be like, poor Kenjamin. He's been sitting
Yeah,
here.
I was
this
gonna
whole
say
time.
Kenjamin's just
Literally, I've been waiting so long that I literally forgot the actual.
Fuck.
What have you been up to since quarantine?
It's been like a roller coaster of a year, honestly. So like, where I'm gonna start is like right after we had our record release and everything. That was back in March. It was starting to get like really nice outside and everything. So having to be locked away and everything. I was living in a busy city at the time. I was living in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And so my biggest thing was I was living with 3 roommates in like an apartment with like paper thin walls. Couldn't really make too much noise. I was a night owl and everything. So
Right.
I'd sleep late as I can, and I'd get up and I would go I have a friend of mine who I jog with sometimes. I was actually getting really big into my own personal fitness. My biggest thing at the time was my mental health, because like the worst thing that could have possibly happened, the coronavirus,
Right.
It was going away, happened. So you just kind of we didn't expect it to be as long as it's going on for. So I was just figuring like, all right, cool. It's a good time to kind of get myself back in shape a little bit, mentally, physically, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That went on up until about the first snowfall of this year, and I ended up leaving the city. Actually, I had to move into a friend of mine's house, a little bit closer to my parents, but it's a fairly rural area. It's very quiet. It's not a city at all. It's not anywhere near as dangerous as I was. So with that and everything, I get a lot more free time there. It's a lot easier. I'm not waiting in traffic all the time. So
that's great.
But throughout the year, though, Robbie's been giving us individual calls. We all got access to the Logic Pro X app and everything. We all got and everything now. So because we got going to we gotta stay away from each other. So we just gotta still continue to work and everything on our own. So
right.
I've
and we discovered just off of that real quick, we discovered this app called Audio Movers. It's like a plugin, and it basically allows you to, like, now that we all have Logic and stuff like that. First of all, it's all compatible. We can send files to each other. It's the same DAW.
Right.
And then second of all, this app Audio Movers, it allows us to listen to, like, we could have a FaceTime call like you and I, like we're all having right now. I could pull up Logic, and with this plugin, you can hear the crystal clear audio that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So for songwriting, it's been amazing. That's definitely been one of the improvements since quarantine, was discovering that. But
it is super cool.
Awesome.
And it's very affordable too, definitely. But with that though, Robbie's been giving us like these calls and everything, like these video calls that show us how to do things that he learned through Logic Pro X and everything. And like one of the biggest things, especially like living not in the city anymore and having more free time, I'm working on more songwriting for the band.
Awesome.
Because currently Robbie's doing like 90% of it, and everything. I'm sick of being like, why is my bass line already prepared? So I want my royalties,
Right.
So that's kind of how that's going. But I'm also a big working man. I'm actually saving for a house of my own.
Okay.
So like I thought we were moving a couple times the last couple years, the entire band and everything, but everything happened, and then we got 2 guys buying houses already. It's like, okay, I'm gonna buy a house now.
That's awesome.
Time for some big boy upgrades. For sure.
Well, it's like you gotta have your own space to do whatever you need, and like when I'm a night owl trying to write songs at night and I have 3 roommates, it's kind of difficult,
Right.
But it's a lot easier when you have your own space, and even like your own space to think and everything, it's just good like that. But
definitely,
that's my biggest thing right now. I want a house so badly. So
yeah,
I want shows. I want to play shows so badly, and I want to own a house so badly. So
let's just play a house show. 2 birds, 1 stone, bro.
Right.
There you go.
I'm lucky to have like a, my girlfriend flew across the country from Washington to live in Vermont so I could stay with the band, so I'm lucky. And she was a Twitch streamer. So she's been trying to adjust. It sucked for her because COVID, her life has never been stable since she got here. It's been nonstop. Something has changed or something's going on. But like, I've been lucky enough to have someone who like knows what I'm trying to do and supports it. So like,
right.
I get to like, I don't ever feel obstructed trying to do what I'm doing. But it's like, it's good to have Robbie can speak on this and Chase can speak on this and Sammy can speak on this. But having like a partner who
absolutely
like like supports what you're doing.
Oh,
is
yeah,
like,
it's huge.
especially in the quarantine, you know, it's like, cause we're in a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, it's like I had to like, you know, we had to come, it's like, hey, like I'm gonna let you put the studio desk and all this shit in the living room, but you're throwing this away because I want to get a chair and a new couch over here. Like, you know, and it's like, and it's cool, you know, it's like, and it's tough too, because, you know, we're not playing shows right now, and it's really hard to not get too comfortable, because whatever a lot of the money that we have to afford the situations we're in right now, we're not going to have once we start trying to tour full steam ahead. And that's where my headspace is all the time. I'm always trying to minimize the future monthly bills, because that was the mindset but then again, it's like the touring landscape is going to be so different when it comes back especially for smaller bands. It's like, I don't want to it's like my girlfriend tells me, like, don't worry about that right now, because like,
it's honestly so far in the future.
That's what I've been telling the guys. I'm like, don't even fucking worry about it. Like, it's not like someone's gonna hit you up and be like, hey, can you play a show tomorrow? Like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
we're gonna know months in advance. We're gonna have plenty of time to financially and physically prepare for something like that. So
exactly.
But it's hard, because I mean I was someone who, like Kenji was saying, like I was in like the best shape of my life. Like I was, you know, taking care of myself. I think we all were
doing really well.
I was bouncing off the walls, and it's like I don't go to Planet Fitness. I don't go anywhere. Like I'm very, very safe. Like I go to work and I come home. I have one sushi restaurant I go to that like no one is ever at when I go there. Like that's it. And I don't leave the house. Like I don't see anybody. I barely see my family. Like I'm very, like I can't get, I mean, especially with me and Chase, like, you know, one of us could get COVID and we might never be able to sing again. You know, it's so it's like, I don't fuck with it at all. And it's hard, because like, I know I got weights to lift at home, because it's like, but I feel my body deteriorating from not
the home workouts are not the same.
Not being as active as I was, and it's hard. And
I think we've all collectively gained a lot of weight.
But I feel like
definitely.
But I feel like
we've all packed on pounds for sure.
But one thing I'm constantly trying to think about is like I've been trying to get myself in this mental state, even though I have no idea when it's going to happen. It's probably going to be a year from now, but I've been trying to be like, hey, like you need to like physically keep yourself in a good place, because like your body will atrophy if you don't keep it going. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to come back to shows and like have my joints sound like popcorn. You know, it's like, you know, it's but yeah, I mean, yeah.
I had a question for Kinjamin. Previous to Saving Vice, you were in a band called Shot Heard Around the World.
Yes, sir.
Any chance of a reunion or new music when things come back to normal?
I don't believe a Shot Heard Around the World reunion will ever happen. I'm in contact with a couple of them. Lately, one of them more than others, you know, but there's a couple members where it's just like I haven't heard from them in a very long time, you know. And they had their run, you know. They were a band from 2005 to 2015. I joined in 2009. So that's like my first like real touring band and everything. You know, I was 6 years, and my first month with them, I was touring with them. It was cool. Awesome. You know, that was like in a van and everything. It was freezing cold. I'd never done it before, and it was like, it's like this is really cool. I mean, it sucks, but it's cool. You know.
Hey, Kenjamin, how would you compare Shot Heard Around the World with Saving Vice?
Oh, dude, every band I've ever been in is a different style completely. Like completely different style. Like I'd compare, Shot Heard Around the World to like, Old Rice and everything like that.
No, I'm talking about like the band chemistry and the infrastructure.
Oh, damn.
I was
not the music.
Well, we did not really have an infrastructure. We had pretty much our vocalist was taking care of everything, whether it was booking the tours, paying for
first.
That's how it usually happens with a lot of local bands. There's like one, maybe two people that just handle everything.
One business guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's for local bands. Or bands that are just starting out. That's usually how it works. But when you get to a size like we're at, where we're growing, like Tyler was saying, like our feet are too big for our shoes. Like we have to keep getting new shoes. Is that whatever? I fucked up that analogy, but
I know what you mean.
That was pretty close. That was pretty close.
But my point is that when you have a fast growing business like that, you have to delegate. I can't do all the work. Like everyone has to pull their weight. And we hired an intern. We brought on a fucking intern. We brought on a publicist who was somewhat of an intern herself. and we have a manager. We have a content creator that handles all of our graphic design, media type stuff. Ian, he's awesome. And we got, CPA, lawyer, pretty much the whole fucking team that a label would provide with you,
Awesome.
We have to do that ourselves and DIY it if we want to continue being independent and not signed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's perks. There's perks to
both.
I will say this is the first time since I've been in this band where I kind of hope a label offer that's really good comes through, because I really didn't had any interest in a label. But now that we can't play shows and we're broke, I'm like, but then again, it's like you get the money, but you got to pay the money back. So it's almost like I'd rather just wait it out until shows
a
get
label
back.
is a fucking bank. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's all
it's
it
a
is.
bank specifically for musicians. It's 2021. You do not need a label. Most bands do not need a label.
Right,
if you're
right.
willing to put in the work, like us, like we're able to be, we're self-sustainable, you know, and it can be done. We're living proof of that. So I always advocate for people to not get hung up on this. Oh, I need to get signed. It's like, you know what I mean? They're just looking for a shortcut.
It's a status thing. Like
it's clout or just taking shortcuts.
Like if you were to ask anybody like what the difference between, like they're like, oh, you're still a local band. Like everyone's a local band to where they live. Like local band is a derogatory term for bands
Ice
that
Nine
aren't
Kills
signed.
is a local band in Massachusetts.
So
You know what I mean?
just don't let anybody ever. Local band is a derogatory term for bands that aren't signed. That's all it is. It's like they think it means something. It's like, no, it's just like you just might have jumped the gun and not read some paperwork more than other people did.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's like anyone can. We figured out how to collect all the royalties that a label usually keeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
we're a registered business. We have a lawyer, manager, CPA. Like we have everything we need.
It's how it should be.
But like every business,
a booking agent,
But like every independently owned business, COVID stopped our money flow. Like, we had it set up. Or like,
so if you look at a Saving Vice pie chart for income, right? We've got probably a small, like, I can't give exact percentages, but a small percentage of that pie is from, actually, it's been pretty even, I'd say. Our number one is merch, for sure. That's like by far the number one source of income. And then you got royalties being another one. And then we have this SVIP thing, which is kind of like Patreon. It's similar to Patreon kind of setup. So we have like membership stuff. And then we also have shows like guarantees, ticket sales, blah, 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 blah. That ticket sales guarantees is completely out of the fucking pie chart now. Like that's gone because of COVID.
And live show
merch was a significant chunk of our income is gone.
And live show merch
Not to mention you get, like Tyler said,
it's like
live merch sales.
Thousands of dollars.
If we play a festival, we're selling up to like $2,000 worth of merch, It's like, and if we play a bunch a year, that shit adds up, bro. Like that's a lot of money that is not possible now. So we have to work extra hard and be extra I don't want to say frugal, but
you have to be a little more creative with what you
efficient
guys do too.
Efficient with our
we have to put off. We've had to put off a lot of ideas that we could have executed had we been playing like 3 of the shows that got canceled last year.
Right.
Like it's crazy. There's literally like probably 3 dates last year that would have paid for like a bunch of big shit that we couldn't do because of COVID.
Oh yeah,
like,
if they happened, yeah.
It's like, I mean, we had learned to estimate like, okay, sweet, like we headlined this show and we did at least this. Okay, we'll buy this much merch and then we'll play this show and we'll use this to fund such and such and such and such, which will return this. And we had learned to like predict that. And then right when we had gotten that, algorithm set up, it all got cut out from under us, and we don't have the bank.
Right,
we just had to write a new algorithm, But I will say, I'm very proud that we still put in all that work last year. We didn't let it go to waste, because I think you said it, Nolan, or someone else said it, that COVID has been kind of a blessing in disguise because it's put everything on hold and let us almost play catch up and like really like focus on our skills. Like when the industry goes back to normal and we're touring full time, I still know how to record and mix and master. I know I still know how to do that stuff. And Tyler still knows how to draw. And Sammy and Chase are still going to have clothing lines. and
Right.
Kenjamin's still gonna be Kenjamin. I don't know. Still gonna be whatever it is that Kenjamin does. So my point is that like we still have these skills, and that's just gonna pay exponentially more in the future. You see what I'm saying? Like it's only gonna compound on itself. And yeah, we've just set ourselves up nice, and now it's mainly just a waiting game.
And like this is like
That's
what
what
this is what it takes. And I mean, like, and I remember when we were starting out, I feel like a lot of people gave us shit for like being so serious and taking ourselves so seriously, especially when we were an early local band. But it's like, this is what it takes if you want longevity, if you don't want to have a band that breaks up every 6 months. It's
Everyone
like,
wants to be a rock star.
Yeah,
No one wants to put in the work.
yeah,
Nobody.
it's like if you want to like, hey, like
Playing a show in front of 10,000 people, that is a 0.001% of what we do.
Yeah, it's like we want to do
It's
this.
very small.
We want to do this for a living. We want to do this for as long as humanly possible. So like we're like committed to building whatever we have to build to make this a priority, you know? But yeah, I mean, like I feel like that probably answered that question.
What were you gonna say, Sammy?
I'm off. I forget already.
Where are you from, Nolan? I'm just curious. I know nothing about you, by the way.
Oh, it's okay. I'm originally from Fresno, California, which is like,
shit. Okay.
Yeah, dead center of the state. I live in Burbank now. And prior to COVID, I was booking and working shows. And then it's so far from now, like, and so I kind of wanted to remain active and do some cool things with bands still, because I enjoyed these interactions. Like, this was like half of the fun of booking shows to begin with, and working shows was to like meet new people, hang out with friends and whatnot. And, you know, you get new ideas from different people, and, you know, you can bounce. It's a creative process, and it's also a hangout, you know? So
for sure.
I'm kind of just taking just that one tiny part of concerts and putting it into this, basically.
It's awesome what you're doing, for sure.
So we'll get to hang out with you when we
eventually.
Get out there.
Eventually, when shit, you know, wherever you guys, wherever you guys are, you know, we'll hang out.
Well, we were supposed to be in California in the fall of 2020, but that never happened, unfortunately. But
right,
like
we were. What are you talking about?
We're supposed
I don't remember that.
We were supposed to do West Coast.
We have talked about it. Yeah.
We're gonna hang with friends.
Yeah.
It never got scheduled because of COVID.
That's right.
That was always the plan.
Yeah, no, he's right. We were planning on something on the West Coast, but if we are out there, I'm sure we will be one day.
It'll be you guys.
We'll have to link up.
Yeah, definitely, dude. So I had So this is a little bit of an odd question, but I'm pulling this because so I saw that you guys did the Evanescence cover last year. So I'm assuming that everyone is like kind of like into new metal at some point. So So one last question for you guys. So who would win in a fight, Korn or Disturbed?
Korn. Absolutely.
Korn.
All right.
I don't think Disturbed can win any fight.
I just thought maybe
Disturbed would like trip over itself trying to fight Korn.
All right, maybe I picked a bad one. What about Limp Bizkit? Korn versus Limp Bizkit.
Korn still
Korn.
Dude,
that one's a little closer, but still Korn.
I'm going with Limp Bizkit. Prison.
Ooh.
Red Durst is such a wild card.
Dude. Yeah. I'll be honest. I respect Korn, but I've never liked them, and I've always loved Limp Bizkit.
I feel like, I mean, I came from a new metal background. I grew up on that shit. So like Slipknot, fucking Korn, Tool, all that shit.
I don't know why, but I suddenly just had a flashback of like me and James and Ben from Asking Alexandria on Asking's tour bus were like shit-faced, like jamming Limp Bizkit one time, and I just suddenly remembered that just now. But like fucking Roland, man. Like chocolate starfish and a hot dog flavored water. You don't fuck with that.
I can't even tell if you're serious right now.
I dead serious. None of this is a lie, dude. Like they were like one of the pioneers of rap metal. Like they're why Attila exists.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Attila would have nothing without Limp Bizkit. Wait, so I know you said that was the last question, but I'm genuinely curious of what the individual questions were.
Well, so you guys kind of covered them when you were talking about
Okay.
With quarantine. Yeah, I mean, you guys covered everything. One thing Robbie didn't mention though, the studios, Hell Here Studios, right?
Yeah, Hell Here Studios.
Sick. Is that? Oh, yeah, nice little mustache tattoo and everything.
I'm still wondering if I should get like, you know, a check for that or not, but
for the mustache.
No, for Hell Here, because I wrote that song.
Oh,
I named that song.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what did you do with the mustache tattoo?
I don't know. It felt. I was actually gonna do Blackbriar Studios. I was torn between the two.
You'd still owe me.
And I'm like, well, I asked a few like family members in the band, and everyone's like, oh, Hell Here, Hell Here. And I was like, okay, cool, all right.
Yeah, it's a great name, so I like it a lot.
Thank you, man.
You
Appreciate
should
it.
copyright that name just to spite Tyler.
Just trademark it. Trademark it. Hell Here. I do want to get it tatted on my knuckles. I want to get Hell Here.
I'll do it with you because that was my idea too.
Tyler, we can go get tatted. Tyler's coming over this weekend.
Inside like one last inside story. So we originally had an EP. I'm not even gonna name because we're burying it. But we had a shitty EP we recorded in some dude's bedroom before Colder Than Dark, and we scrapped the whole thing when we really started officially as a band. And the only song that we kept off of it instrumentally that we updated it obviously was what became Hell Here.
Yeah.
And so Hell Here was like my like, I wrote that song about pretty much like how I had kind of given up on music and like made these own walls for myself. And I think about this a lot because Robbie helped me break down a lot of those walls. Like I had a very self-defeating personality. Like I was like, oh, I'm not. Robbie's like, oh, you should do this, and I was like, I'm not good enough. Like I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to do that. And like Robbie is a very big attribute. I don't want to get all bromancy here, but like he's pushed me a long way. And like so, you know, and Hell Here was that song, and it was supposed to be like your own hell, your own mind, and that was like what the whole song was about. And it was like, I mean, to this day, it's probably our most well-known song, but Hello There was supposed to be a like, if you take the O off of hello and the T off there, it's Hell Here. And it was supposed to be like kind of waving at your own demons, like facing your own shit. And so it's a very like big story. So like I was pretty honored that Robbie chose that name, you know what I mean? Because like, you know, I was joking about the whole like pay me thing.
I just thought it sounded sick, honestly.
But it does.
I didn't have a deep literary meaning.
But like, I honestly think it would be kind of sick if the whole band got Hell Here as knuckle tattoos, because it was like that was like cool. That was our that was like our final episode song. You know, asking, you know what I mean? That was our first big hoorah.
Yeah, it's funny because Chase knows. Chase and I are like the old school members, and we wrote Hell Here. And I think it went through three. There's like three masters of that song. Like there's three variations that eventually got to Colder Than Dark, and I was like, I'm so fucking sick of this song for 4 years. And it's like it's so funny because it's like that's before I knew like music theory. That's before like I got really good at this, because I mean, listen to any band's discography, their old shit sucks. Like it's
right. They're just
terrible.
Yeah.
They're just having fun, experimenting, whatever. And
that's what Hell Here was.
It's so funny. It's our most streamed song, and it's like the most primitive like writing. You know, it just goes to show anything can. You know what I mean? Like music is crazy like that.
I think it's important to remember that like this band started because we were like, yo guys, like wouldn't it be sick if we just brought back like 2010 metalcore with a twist and just gave people that fucking live experience again? Like we just brought back that bounce and the headbanging, and like it was almost like a gimmick. Like we were like, we didn't think it was gonna go anywhere. We just wanted to have fun.
People ate it up.
And it was like, that's what started this, was like just having fun and making fun music that we loved playing. And, you know, and so it's like, it just goes to show. And then it's like funny. And I say that we've talked about this 1,000 times, but it's like every person who was shitting on Stand Up and Scream like 8 years ago is all they do is post about how they wish fucking Asking would go back to that sound now. And it's like, we knew that. And we're like, yo, people can lie to themselves all they fucking want, but they want to jump and bounce, and they want the breakdowns and the choruses.
It's
like
straight
people that make fun
entertainment.
of
Like, you
scene
can't deny
bands,
it.
and then
and like that's so we're gonna give them that. And Hell Here will always be that song that we can never not play.
Oh, for sure.
Like and
every time I read the album title, "Hello There," I just read that in Obi-Wan's voice from
I know.
Hello There, and
yeah.
I'm just like, God, I'm such a fucking nerd.
No, I mean, don't get me started. I mean, the Spire. I don't know if you listen to Binary.
We knew that going into it. We're like, a lot of people are gonna think it's a Star Wars reference, even though there was, I don't know, there was like 4 different meanings behind the title "Hello There." Like Tyler explained one of them,
Right.
And then the Star. I mean, we're a big Star Wars band. We love Star Wars across the board, except for I think Chase.
Yeah,
He's a fucking
it's your loss,
or whatever.
Sorry,
fucking loser,
Star Wars
fucking
atheist
loser.
or whatever. So, but no, we're big nerds in Saving Vice, and actually, Endgame was all about fucking Infinity War.
Okay,
I'm surprised you
that's
didn't
what I
bring that
thought,
up.
but I didn't want to like say.
Dude,
something.
I'm surprised.
Robbie, you want
to
tell the story?
It's a quick story, but it's one of my favorite Saving Vice stories. So I'll make this one kind of quick. But as far as Endgame goes, when I wrote it, when I wrote the song, Tyler and I were coming up with like what we wanted to call it. This was during the demo phase, and Tyler wanted to call it Only Half. That was like his first. And this was. Are you familiar with Marvel, Nolan?
Yeah.
Have you seen Infinity War and Endgame? You seen the movies?
I actually watched all of the movies in chronological order during quarantine. Like,
oh shit! There you go. Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
So you're following along. So Infinity War just dropped, and Endgame Tyler was struggling with for a while lyrically, and he saw Infinity War, got home from the theaters. He DM'd me and was like,
"No, we were in the car."
Well, whatever. Either way, he got inspired from Infinity War, and he's like, dude, I got it. I got the lyrics, and whatever. He went and wrote it super quick, and we were in love with it. We're like, dude, this is sick, awesome. And then we were coming up with the title, and Tyler was like, he wanted to do Only Half, and I'm like, that's a shitty name for a song, especially a single. Like, it's got to be something like captivating. He came up with a couple other ideas. I'm like, no, those all suck. And I was like, okay, well, what's something that repeats a lot in the song? Like, what's a like a phrase or something? Like, singles usually have the title, something that repeats a lot in the song. And he's like, we're in the end game. And I'm like, let's call it End Game. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I like that. And the whole band was like, yeah, cool. So we called it End Game. And I think maybe a month later or something, Marvel drops the trailer for the next movie, the final movie of the franchise. And it's Endgame. It's called Endgame. And we looked at each other like, no fucking way. Like, we had no idea the last movie was Endgame.
Right.
And we're like, dude, people are going to think that we ripped off like the movie Endgame when we truthfully came up with the title. And no one will probably believe this. Yeah, no one believes. I mean, we know it to be true, but people might not believe the story. But
yeah, it's not even about the movie Endgame. I wrote it. We were in the car. Me and Robbie went to see it, and we were in the car. And I remember I was so fucked up over the ending of the movie. Like, I'm so emotionally invested in
dude.
Marvel.
That shit hurts.
Yeah, like I don't know if you've seen I'm featured on a podcast right now called Metalcore Nerds.
I saw that. Yeah.
So right now we're unfortunately I'm only doing one series, but we're every WandaVision episode we're reviewing it and doing a podcast.
Yeah,
but I'm like invested in this. And I remember I was in the car and I was just like, yo, it's like I've always told myself like, yo, you got to write about what you're feeling. It was like Broken Window with me and Chase. We were pissed as hell. Like, it's like write about what makes you feel. And I was just like, yo, like this fucking franchise has to be fucked up. And I was like in the car just thinking about it. And I couldn't think about anything else with the ending of that movie. And I was just like, I just like want to see what happens. And I was in the car, I think with Robbie. It was the second time I'd seen it.
Did we see it together? Oh,
yeah,
wait, you're right. We saw it the second time.
I saw it once, but then the second time, it's like the first time you don't really process it because it's like, so the second time I saw it with Robbie because he hadn't seen it, and we're in the car, and I'm like, and I turned on the instrumental for Endgame in the car, and I literally like started singing the chorus, like making it up as I was going to the song, and I was like, yo, and then I was like, remember I was quoting Spider-Man in the song, like his final words, and I was just like, oh man, this is it, and it was all about
Doctor
Infinity War.
Strange. That was Doctor Strange's.
Yeah.
Quote. we're in
No,
the
no,
end
no,
game
no.
now,
But I don't
Tony,
want
or
to go.
whatever.
I don't want to go.
No. I'm talking about the title Endgame.
Yeah, but that. Yeah,
we're
but
in
that
the
was
end game.
But it
Was
was
Doctor Strange? He was
But
telling
that was
Iron Man.
originally. But you came up with that later because I wasn't going to name the song.
I
that
know, but I'm
originally.
saying that was a lyric in the song.
Well, there's a
like-
bunch of quotes. There's a bunch of
Well,
quotes.
what the fuck ever. Never mind.
Yeah.
Just forget it.
Anyways, but it was like it was this was like random pop culture thing, and it's like, but I wanted it. We wrote it in a way where like if you had no knowledge of the Marvel universe, if you heard the song, it still had a context that was like different. But yeah, it was like we only got to play that. We got to play that song a little bit because it was when we dropped before the album came out. But live shows with like Robbie was saying earlier, like it's so fun to play live. And I remember when we played it at Higher Ground, and I was just like the chorus when like the crowd was all singing it back. I was just like, fuck, man, like this is gonna be so fun to play this for the next year. And then it didn't happen. Like it's
fine.
like,
You guys will get it
That
next
was
year.
so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, this has been amazing talking with you guys. And I really look forward to finally hanging out with you guys in person. That'll be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So any last comments, anything you guys want to plug, anything like that?
I think we
Just-
kind of all accidentally.
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico's great.
yeah, I mean, I keep up. I mean, if you like what we do, if you like the music, I mean, just follow, subscribe, like the post, share the posts. Like, I think a lot of people underestimate how far that goes. I mean, just like stream the music.
These are all free things you can do.
Yeah,
It's super simple
yeah.
and it goes a long ways. Seriously.
yeah. I mean, every time you share that link, you like the post, you comment on the post, it's like it shows a bunch of people that the same post. It's like if you really believe in a band and you want other people to check the band out, engage with what they post, and like it goes a long
not just
way.
us. Any band that you
anyone.
you love,
Any
truly
artist, anybody.
support, share their shit and comment and do all that stuff to help their reach, so more people can hear these.
Social media is a fucking rat race, and like
Especially in quarantine, it's getting more. It's
but,
it's harder to get through.
musicians are up against. You have no idea what musicians. I mean, well, you might, but most people they have no idea what musicians are up against. Like just trying to get their music heard. You can have 10,000 followers, and when you post something, 100 of them see it, unless you're paying Facebook.
Yeah,
All your Facebooks to see it.
It's trash.
Same thing with your podcast, man. Same thing with the podcast. It's getting your content out there digitally it's hard. It really is.
Word of mouth is everything.
I agree.
So yeah, I mean, but you know what? Hey, watch interviews. Watch podcasts like this. Go check out if you like a band. Go see who they're talking to. Go get to know them. See the interviews that they're doing, because you never know what you're gonna learn or hear, and you might find some other bands or people like you or every content creator in this industry is all working together, and like it grows off each other and it builds off each other.
Definitely.
And, you never know what you're going to find if you actually just look.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
All right. Thanks for
Awesome,
having
guys.
us, Nolan. We appreciate it. This
Thank
was a
you
lot
guys
of
for
fun.
being here. Yeah.
Yeah. This is our first full band interview.
I think ever.
Ever.
Ever?
I'm
Yeah.
It's always been like one or two or three members. I don't think we've ever had the full squad.
I kind of thought it was going to be a mess, but it was kind of fun. So it's like,
Yeah, Kenjamin the chatterbox over there. Jeez.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much. See you soon.
thank you
All
so
right.
much, man.
Take care, Nolan.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for checking out the latest episode of RAD Chat featuring Saving Vice. Please check out all the links in the description for Saving Vice and RAD music, and make sure to hit that subscribe button.